What insult have your parents said that is stuck in your head as an adult? There are so many things I really don't remember most of them. Once my stepmom called me a lying, sneaking little shit BC. She thought I stole her melatonin when she just used it all and forgot Abbott. But the thing that I think about a lot is my dad once when I was like 10. I don't remember what it was about. I just remember him poking me in the chest with enough force to knock me down. He said, "You're such a piece of shit, I can't wait until I get to kick you out," and spat in my face as I was laying on the ground. That was the man who was supposed to be Superman to me. I was supposed to sit on his shoulders to see a parade or something. My little brother was drowning. I tried to save him, but also almost drowned. We got rescued by a neighbor. My mom told me that they should have left me in the pond. I haven't spoken to her in many years. Like a half a century ago, my mother and I were talking, and the topic of someone's eye color came up. I forget who. I sincerely asked, "What color are my eyes?" "They are sort of a gray-green." She looked at them closely and told me, "Sort of a shit brindle." I still bring that up from time to time. In 7th grade, I was learning how to write better poetry thanks to an awesome teacher. I was so proud of a collection I made, so I let my mom read it. She asked me, "Do you need to be put in a mental asylum?" I was so upset, and as I was growing up, I didn't share any of my art with people, regardless of the medium. Even now, I still hear how serious she was when she asked me that. My mother said lots of things like that. I'll just talk about one of the most memorable. While I went to go inside the corner store, she stayed behind in the car. Outside the store was a kid that had a crush on me. He grabbed my ass and I bitched him out. My mother saw all this. In the following days and weeks, she basically accused me of being a slut, implying that I somehow invited it. She tried convincing my father of this, told her coworkers about it, everything except being a mom infuriated that someone touched their daughter like that. My father said to my mother when she finally left him, "The only one of the 3 kids that has done any good is the middle one. I'm surprised that the other 2 aren't in jail." I guess the next question is, which one are you? Clearly not the middle child. You sound like a pig under a gate. I was approximately 10 and working to expand my vocal range. To this day, I stop singing when others are around. The one that lives rent-free, though, is, "Now find someone else to take care of you." Thanks for the help, I guess. Half man, half mattress. My old man when I wouldn't get out of bed. Edit. For those asking, he was being amazing and funny. 1990, I was 16 and had to get up at 4:30 for work. He got me up and out the door every morning. A nice wee story. "You can't even laugh right, my mom." In a weird moment, I thought we were bonding. There's something inherently extra evil when someone tells you your joy is wrong. What did I do to deserve a fat kid? Extra ridiculous considering that even if you were fat, you were a kid. Who controls what kids eat? Their parents. Not a parent, but a grandparent. I was adopted when I was 12 years old. My parents were both drug addicts, so I was in and out of foster care most of my life. My adopted mother's father turned to me on Christmas Eve, when no one else was around, and said, "My daughter should have never adopted you. She should have let you stay on the streets where you belong." He got nicer as he got older and sicker, but I couldn't find it in myself to forget what he said even almost 10 years later. Went to the funeral for moral support, but was indifferent about his passing. "I sometimes wish your seizure killed you when you were 2 years old." God, what the fuck? Mom was talking to Dad about me while I was right there. I was bullied in high school, and it had an effect on my grades. While discussing my education, she said, "Look at him. Can't you see there's nothing in there? Just look at how he sits there. He can't do this. He's not capable of more. This is it. He's nothing." It gave me a drive and motivation. It also gave me a constant need to prove myself. Edit. I never imagined this to get so much replies. For the people wondering, this happened almost 20 years ago, and I have now found peace with what she said. My mom has a lot of mental issues, but she tries her best. She's made a lot of progress and is still working on battling her inner demons. And in the end, she has since done a lot more good than bad to me. I will never forget what she said, but I no longer hold it against her. People shouldn't always be reduced to their worst moment. "You're so annoying," said to me as a young kid while I was expressing enthusiasm over some new interest. Later, my father complains I never tell him anything. After I had rambled on a new, exciting interest, my dad pulled me over to stand in front of him. Here's a quarter. I want you to walk on down to the Snappy Mart. When you get there, put the quarter in the phone. Then call someone who cares. He gave me the quarter, and I broke down, because 10-year-old me didn't have anyone to call. I'm still convinced my being interested in anything makes it worse. I can still hear his cold, sarcastic voice in my head. That sucks. One of mine said, I wish you weren't born. I would be doing so many things differently and not worked myself to death. Said by one that taught me to take responsibility for my actions, but can't take responsibility of their own. Funny how things work out. Dad, when I was about 10, if I kill you, I can make another one just like you and no one will notice. My mom said this once, but replace kill you with give you away. It's different when you're a twin. My parents divorced when I was young and they hate each other. My mom would call me my dad's name when she was really upset. What makes it worse is that I confided in her that I never wanted to be like my dad. She used that ammunition against me. The only reason I had kids is to serve me. I only wanted one boy and one girl. Bitch had 3 boys. Parents who view their children as nothing more than property are the worst kind of parents. She told me I was acting just like my father when I would get upset. I would just get kind of pissy and sulk. He would go on rampages and scream and hit and throw things. He pushed her down the stairs once. I would never lay a finger on my current partner. The worst part is I look just like him. I was wondering if my mother always expected me to turn into my dad. I prove her wrong every day. Edit. Thank you to everyone who shared their own stories. It's good to know I'm not alone. Also, to the people suggesting I had previous partners I would actually abuse, I can understand the wording could have been better, but how dare you. I've heard so many times you'll be like your father asterisk. Scares me to get into relationship or take of my nieces and nephews. I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm happy you proved her wrong. Not me, but a friend after her dad had died. She told her mom that she missed her daddy. I say daddy because she was roughly 8 at the time. You miss him so much? If you ever say that to me again, I swear I'll chain you to his gravestone. I'm speechless. It wouldn't have ever occurred to me that someone would say that before I read this. Fuck. It was horrible. My mom looked into getting her on child abuse charges, but it didn't pan out. They chalked it up to the mother being upset, but man, it was fucked up. Fortunately, it was an isolated incident. I think I was like 2nd grade and my dad called me manipulative. I was around the same age when I had a sleepover birthday party. A girl forgot her jacket at my house and her dad brought her to my door and asked for it, and I said it wasn't here. Her dad called me a liar and I'll never forget it. She asked me every day for the rest of the school year if I had her jacket and checked my backpack. I wasn't lying. Some other girl probably packed it by mistake. When I was approximately 10 years old, my mom once said, if I could go back in time and make sure I never gave birth to you, I would in a heartbeat. Never forgot it. Talked to her about it a couple of times years later, and her responses ranged from, that never happened to, oh yeah, and I suppose I'm just the worst mother ever. And finally, yeah, but I didn't mean it, you know that. Messed me up though, to be honest. Another one was, older sibling, was the only child we actually planned for. The rest of you were accidents. I don't think it was intended as an insult, but being told your entire existence was an accident, as a child kinda stung. My father is very good at maths, especially at doing it in his head. I always was self-conscious about that. One hike in the mountains he gave me a math problem and I went totally blank, tried to frantically solve it in my head but couldn't. Finally he said, you once were intelligent, that's long gone. Starting a monologue about how dumb I am. I was 13 at the time. In my end 30s we had a chat about chemistry, which I excelled in at school. That led to other subjects, and it turned out he wasn't really good in any subject we shared, except math. I was in most, except math. To be honest, I was expecting only few answers. Thank you all for sharing. I'm really sorry you all had to hear what you have heard from your parents. I'm really glad some of you got to prove them wrong, and I hope you all gain the confidence you need to recover from this. All the best. I love you all. I love.
Hey, fantastic audience! Today I'm bidding you farewell, but it's not the end of our connection. Hop on over to the channel, drop a comment sharing your thoughts, and ensure you're subscribed. Because trust me, you won't want to miss out on the exciting things coming up.